This talk will be a continuation of an explanation of exactly how Christian men have been deceived into being emasculated and defeated. Jesus called us to be conquerors, yet the false dogma, the false doctrines that Paul and his Christians believe in, undermine that enterprise. A key example of this, or a key vehicle for achieving this disempowerment, is through the idea that if someone is abusing you, you should just take it. This is illustrated in the verse that almost everyone is familiar with, wherein Jesus supposedly said, if someone slaps or strikes you on one cheek, you should turn the other one to them, as in an offering. They hit you on the left side of the face, you should turn the right side of your face toward them, as if you're inviting further abuse. This is false, a false translation of what Jesus actually said, and it's clearly unethical and ridiculous. Any rational man should read this verse and think something is wrong with it. But because most Christians are indoctrinated to believe that everything that they're told in the Bible is a perfect translation, and that the church authorities and the scribes are 100% trustworthy, that everything in the Bible is the supposed inerrant word of God, they disregard their own common sense and common ethics and just accept, well, this must be what Jesus actually taught, even though it doesn't quite make sense to me. This extreme pacifism wherein abuse is not only accepted but even encouraged must somehow fit an enlightened perspective, right? So the way that they accomplish this, and when I say they, I mean the scribes, first, it's important to address these scribes themselves, right? Many Bibles have verses in which the word scribes are still used, where Jesus is actually calling them vipers, calling them hypocrites, right? Calling them evil men. I'll put in the description box below all the verses where you can find Jesus calling out the scribes as vipers. But what you'll find with some modern Bible translations is that they change the word scribes to teachers of the law. And this is just an outright complete fabrication of the original text. And also, if you have common sense, you can recognize, well, that would make what Jesus is saying redundant, right? Because he's saying the Pharisees and scribes. And who are the Pharisees? Pharisees were teachers of the law, right? Even though they were hypocrites, they were teachers of the law of Moses, right? So why would Jesus say, woe to you, teachers of the law and teachers of the law, right? They changed the word scribes to teachers of the law to hide the fact that Jesus was criticizing the scribes. And even the word scribes, what does that mean, right? Do we use the word scribes in modern English? No. So why wouldn't they translate the word into something that we use today? Why wouldn't it be an accurate translation into the actual language we speak? Again, to hide the truth, right? Even when the word scribes was used, people didn't really get it because it's an unfamiliar word. Maybe scribe means, just someone who copies text, from one scroll to the other. Maybe they don't actually do any editing. Actually, they do, right? And that's what he was pointing our attention to. And this is you find in Jeremiah 8:8 calling out the lying pen of the scribes, right? The lying pen, meaning that they edit the text in a evil manner, right? So Jesus called these scribes vipers, and these scribes are the editors of text, meaning they change words, they translate them in deceptive ways, they omit text, they add text. And a perfect example of this, an important example of this, is this supposed saying of Jesus where he tells Christian men in particular, to turn the other cheek. And I'll just point out to you exactly how they mistranslated the words using an accepted resource on these words as far as the Greek meanings. And you'll see I'm not twisting it to fit my own agenda. I'm just pointing out that it's already been twisted. So what we'll find here in Luke 6:29 is that these scribes, which Jesus called vipers, and that in Jeremiah 8:8 we read, use a lying pen, the lying pen of the scribes. This English translation of, if someone strikes you on one cheek, turn to him the other also, is obviously, clearly a mistranslation and a purposeful one. And for what purpose? To make people obedient slaves, to make them passive, emasculated, to destroy the warrior class, to make the evil rulers of the world have populations that are much more submissive to their abusive rule. Pretty straightforward. And debunking this translation is also very straightforward. All you have to do is click on the word turn, right? On Bible Hub, you can click on each individual word. I'm sure you can do this on other websites and dictionaries and such. Click on the word turn, right? And then you're going to get the Berean Strong's Lexicon, right? And it's going to tell you that the original word, the actual word, is Parecho, spelled Parecho. And does Perecho mean turn? No. It's not even one of the possible definitions, right? And all of the words that you're given as like possible definitions and meanings, turn isn't even on the list. It's not even given as a possibility, right? You'll have like words and all the ways that they're utilized and have, several different definitions. Well, you might be thinking, well, turn must be like the fourth or fifth definition. Nope. It's not even on the list of possibilities. What is the main meaning of the word? To give or to bring. And then they explain further in the usage, to cause or bring about. A big difference between that and turn, as in turn your head from left to right, isn't there? Why would they mistranslate it so extreme to such an? Why would they how could they mistranslate this word to such an extreme measure, where they're putting in this word turn that isn't even on the list of possible meanings? Well, it's because it obviously serves a certain purpose. It's because they want to change the meaning of what he was saying. And they want to, as satanic evil people do, they want to actually invert it 100%. So by changing this word Perecho to mean turn rather than give, they begin the complete inversion of the words of Jesus. And this is finished off with changing the word other that follows, right? Turn to him the other also, right? So what's this word other? You go click on that. It's the word Allos, Allos, number 243. And what does it mean? Other or another. And then usage, they explain further. One, it means it's used in the sense of one more of the same kind, another of the same kind. Okay, so if you plug in both the actual definitions read right off the top of the list on this globally accepted, Greek dictionary, that I'm not twisting or, in any sense doing any manipulation with, you get, if someone strikes you on one cheek, and the word cheek is actually jaw, you can check that for yourself too. So if someone strikes you on one jaw, give to him another of the same kind also. Right? Just think about modern English. If someone said that to you, what does it mean? Give to them another of the same. If your dad is giving you a pep talk and, hey son, if a bully hits you on the left side of the head, well, give him right back one of the same kind. Well, it's straightforward. It means defensive force, proportional defensive force. Hit him back in the same way he hit you. That's what Jesus actually said. But these evil scribes who work for this evil control system of abuse want you to be pacifist and, pro-abuse. And it's sick because not only is it emasculating, but it's also promoting abuse and suggesting, that Jesus did too, right? Jesus said the greatest commandments, the perfect moral law, is to love God, others, and yourself. The opposite of loving action, befriending love, is abuse. So they're changing the words of Jesus to be from pro-love, which is what proportional defensive force is. Someone strikes you or someone you care about, or even a complete stranger right in front of you, and you use defensive force, that's an act of love. It's just common sense. I mean, to think that he would say turn the other cheek is just sick. Just shows you have no idea who Jesus was, and you have no real interest, because this takes what, 2 minutes of research, and you just go ahead and trust these so-called authorities, the lying pen of the scribes. The scribes he called vipers, right? And even the word scribes, they've changed in some modern Bibles to be teachers of the law, to further obscure, right? The word scribe isn't a word we normally use, so it's already a bit obscure, that it means editors of the text. And then now they've gotten rid of the word scribe altogether and just changed it to teachers of the law. Complete bullshit. And it's redundant too, if you just look at the text, right? Pharisees, who were the Pharisees? Teachers of the law of Moses. So you're going to say, oh, Jesus said, woe to you, teachers of the law, and you, teachers of the law? No, he was talking about two connected but separate groups of people, right? The Pharisees that were out there preaching in the streets, so to speak, and then the scribes who were changing text, omitting text, mistranslating on purpose to push their evil agenda. So there you have it. I'll put the text in the description box so you can reference that. But yeah, he never said turn the other cheek. If you entertain that, you should be ashamed of yourself, really, because just think if another man told you to do that, what would your reaction be? Would you respect that man? If someone told you, oh, if your child gets hit, you should tell the child to turn the other cheek, it's disgusting. It's just ridiculous that you would think that the most perfect, moral, and enlightened being on earth would promote this. Just shows how duped you are. And I hope this more direct, harsh language, helps wake you up and get you back to the true moral law, which again is the greatest commandments, which is anti-abuse in all of its forms, right? Oh, and to follow up also on and just to add here about how the scribes manipulated the text here, in the next verse, it's supposedly Jesus saying, if someone takes your cloak, give him your shirt also. If someone takes your jacket, you should give him your t-shirt too, or whatever. Like he's pro-theft. Oh yeah, whenever someone just comes to your house and starts stealing stuff, offer them even more. Someone steals your car, oh, give them your truck too. It's absurd. What Jesus was saying is, if someone in need needs to take up, as in the same usage as take up your cross, if someone in need is cold outside, right? And so they take up your coat because you give it to them. Well, give them, don't be overly generous, right? They only ask for your coat, but give them an extra shirt too, right? If you're able to be generous, do so. And then in the very next verse, that makes it clear, right? Because he explains that he's talking about being generous, giving to those in need. People just don't even pay attention to the context in which the words are spoken, let alone look into the true definitions. So this is a huge example, this big lie of turn the other cheek, of how Christian men have been emasculated. And it's high time that this translation is no longer accepted and it's translated correctly. All right, thank you for listening.